for you. One other top story is what has been happening at the home of businessman Jimmy Wanjigi. Remember that for the last almost 2 days, there has been a siege at his house with officers saying that they're ready and have been asked to arrest him because of ammunition that is said to have been stored in his house. And I just want to bring in my colleague Sophia Wanuna. Sophia, good morning. So what more can you tell us? We know that yesterday he was able to obtain a court order that would bar the police from actually arresting him. Since then, what exactly has transpired?
Good morning, Betty. Yes, 2 days of heavy police presence, actually multi-agencies that have been conducting this operation at Jimmy Wanjigi's home here in Muthaiga. That has finally come to an end. The compound here is clear. Just supporters and politicians that are making their way here. Behind me is the house, and you can see some of those politicians, some of their supporters and staff members interacting behind me. And Betty, we know that Raila Odinga, the National Super Alliance principal, spent the night here at Jimmy Wanjigi's home. And remember, this is after he came, because after court orders were received, this is to ask the police, or rather ordering the police not to arrest or even threaten to arrest Wanjigi, as well as paying that anticipatory bail yesterday. The police had not executed the order. They'd completely disregarded it. And in fact, last night, one of the showdowns outside the gate was that Jimmy Wanjigi's lawyer, James Orengo, was himself not allowed to get into the premises. The police throughout this time, believing that Jimmy Wanjigi was holed up in here. So they conducted that search, and throughout the day, throughout the night, breaking into various parts of the house, not being able to find him. However, they did retrieve some firearms, and we have seen exhibits of those, as well as ammunition. However, family from Jimmy Wanjigi is saying that there's actually license for that, for the firearms that he has. He's a licensed firearm holder. However, we'll wait to hear as well from the police in as far as to the extent of what they were able to recover from the house. So family members are in here. Raila Odinga as well. We just had moments ago he was having breakfast. There were all manner of reports last night about him being told he cannot leave. However, police saying he's free to leave if he wants to. However, his daughter indicating that perhaps that was not the case. But the police saying he was free to do so. So he chose not to, is what some of the reports are indicating. So quite a situation that a lot is still yet to be made clear, but we will be hearing from Raila Odinga himself, and perhaps may be able today to see Jimmy Wanjigi, a man who's continued to be sought despite those orders from the court. So we wait also because James Orengo had indicated that he'd be going back to court to argue contempt of court by the police in not honoring those orders. And one more thing, Betty, is that we understand right now, again, another raid is happening at Kwacha. Remember, that's his offices in Westlands. We had one yesterday. Our Duncan Haimba covering that. We understand right now around 30 officers in that particular compound, and perhaps another raid imminent any moment from now, Betty.
All right, Sophia, you have been able to speak to the officers there for the last couple of hours, maybe 30 hours to be exact. What are they saying is the background of this? Because if they have been able to get the ammunition, there's that court order that you say that they have completely disregard of, then what exactly is the background of this? Is it extremely political? Is there something maybe that Kenyans still do not know?
That is what those who support Jimmy Wanjigi will say. That's what the politicians are saying. Remember, yesterday, exclusively KTN covered that exchange between Raila Odinga and the officers that were manning the gate. And he was holding with him the court orders and walking the officers in charge here through what these orders were saying and asking them on what grounds then do you still continue to have your presence here? On what grounds then do you continue to maintain people cannot access this home, including the counsel for the person and you're after. And so it was quite a dramatic experience, that one right there. But this senior officers, and the operation here was being headed by the officer in charge of the flying squad, that's Saidi Mohammed. He indicated those are the orders they have. And so the question then is, which orders surpass the orders of a court? If the court has ordered a certain thing, then on what other orders were they acting on? Because then you'd imagine you'd present their own court orders to counter these orders, but there were no such papers presented. So again, that is an issue we'll wait to see. But James Orengo had indicated they would be moving back to court to question that, saying that if court orders cannot be obeyed, what are we saying to ordinary Mwananchi when they move to court and certain orders are made? Then can anybody disregard? So that is a point of concern, and we will also be waiting to hear from the Inspector General of Police, from the DPP, because they were served simultaneously as soon as those orders were released, before even they were brought here, because those are the bosses, they're the officers in charge. They were served so that they could call back the officers who are staged here. In fact, at the first instance, some of the officers who are here left, but quite a number of them still remaining here throughout the night, saying that orders indicated they must stay put.